we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As we wheel our little command center over here, off to the side. Let's just make sure everything is working, and I think we are all good. Thank you, MeatHaus. Very cool. Okay. All right. We got this. Everything appears to be working. Mic is good. We are ready for our, ready for our push day. So, looking forward to, oh, whoa, hey Moth, what's going on? It's kind of trippy. But looking forward to a very solid training session this morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning, our usual-ish start time. I got up about 40 minutes later than normal. I'm normally, set an alarm at 5, get out of bed, feet touch the floor like 5:15. Might snooze a couple times. But today, man, I did not get out of bed until like 5:50. So, a little tired. Kids kept us up. But that's okay. They're babies. So, they can do whatever they want. But excited to get out here nonetheless. Was thinking, I'm gonna skip today, post in the Discord, let people know. But then I thought, no, can't do that. We gotta stick to our routine and make sure we get out here at our usual time. And so here we are. So, good morning, good afternoon. Just doing some banded work for these scaps, these traps, lats, upper back. Get a nice little warm up going before we get into our training session for today. All right. We've done a fair amount of band work. We'll just hang that over there, I guess, for now. But let's get our little command center here and let's see what we got on the docket for today. So, okay, figured as much. So we are starting off with our good friend, some incline dumbbell, 3 sets, going for about 10 to 12 this week. So I'm just copying and pasting the columns from last week's workout into this week so I can see what I lifted, so I know where to make adjustments and things like that. So yeah, last week we did 2 sets. We're adding 1 additional set this week. And yep, 3 sets, 10 to 12. And we'll go 60 pounds. Where do I want to put this? 60 pounds on our dumbbells. So I will get probably start with the 50s and get those set up. And then we can get some real warm-ups in. So we'll angle this way, because I'll be off in this corner. Over there, boop, boop. Right over there. Getting our dumbbell set up for this morning.
So we have 20, 30, 30, 40, and 50. Like I was saying, we will use 50 pounds probably for 2 warm-up sets, you know, get these pecs firing, make sure we're 20, 30, 40, 50, and make sure our front delts and everything are all nice and warmed up. All of that before we get into our, you know, working sets. Want to be safe. I'm not a spry young, 20-year-old anymore, so warm-up sets are actually much more important than they used to be for your boy. So 40 and 50. And I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's stream, but I was watching a YouTube video from, his name's Basement Bodybuilding here on YouTube. And one thing he talks about is, training and how we think of bodybuilding is different than how we kind of view, and I don't want to like totally bastardize what he said, but it's different than how we view, oh, check my text, big dog. Oy. What is going on? Oh. Okay, I'm getting the bat signal to run up, and our daughter's crying. So, hey everyone, I will be right back. Give me a couple minutes. I gotta go help her out. So, BRB. Hold please. Okay, so apologies for the delay, but you know, family and kids and all those things take priority. So when you know, I get the text that the kiddos need me, sorry y'all, but I gotta go and help out. So everything is all good, but we are back. I'm sure people watching this VOD are gonna be like, why is there, you know, 3 minutes in the middle where nothing happens? But got to help with the fam. I guess, you know, perk of a home gym. I'm here to help and support the family if and when I'm needed. Typically, everyone is still asleep. We don't normally get our daughter awake at 6:30. She normally gets up about 8, so that was an unplanned interruption, but
You know what they say, that's showbiz, baby. There we go.
all right, where's our little foot thing? Totally off. There we go. There we go. So, all set up on incline bench. We're going, like I said, 3 sets, 10 to 12. We'll zoom out just a smidge. We are warming up now with the 50s, and then we'll use the 60s as our working weight for today. And then, yeah, I mean, after this, then we'll get set up for our next exercise. But that is a future us endeavor. For now, let's get through some incline bench. Okay. So, first warm up, pretty good. Feeling fine. I'm slightly off screen here. Just adjusting our adjustable dumbbells and getting those set up. But one thing, listening to like Basement Bodybuilding and his kind of philosophy and mindset towards training is, you know, the pursuit of strength is, of course, a great goal, right? But if the goal is hypertrophy and like bodybuilding specifically, you know, prioritizing, you know, just increasing weight week on week on week, you know, without necessarily regard for technique improvements, or like tracking, you know, muscle measurements as opposed to just weight and strength on the bar is like a pretty valuable mindset shift. And it gives the example of like, you know, if your goal is, you know, a 315 bench, for example, you know, you will take a wider grip on the barbell. You'll arch more. You'll get more leg drive. You'll do more things to practice the skill of strength, where obviously, you know, a larger muscle has more potential to be a stronger muscle, but strength as a skill can be trained, and that if we're thinking of, you know, kind of the pursuit of hypertrophy and bodybuilding specifically, to make sure, you know, technique is dialed, obviously, right? Nobody wants to get injured. But also making sure that our technique is being, you know, executed in a way that we are getting the maximum amount of stimulus for the muscles that we are developing. And so as someone who's competed in powerlifting, and that's kind of my upbringing, I guess, in the lifting world, I do use, like for bench specifically, a fair amount of leg drive, and I try and get an arch going and all of those things, which does help you move weight, but isn't necessarily providing enough stimulus for biasing, you know, our upper chest to develop and build those muscles. So all this to say, hearing him talk about this was like maybe a, yeah, duh, MeatHaus, no shit kind of moment for some of you. But for me, whose mindset around training was always, you know, got to increase weight, got to keep, you know, progressing, got to add weight, got to add reps, got to, you know, do all of these things, progressive overload, progressive overload, progressive overload, which not to say it's not important, but a larger muscle drives progressive overload, right? A stronger muscle drives progressive overload. It's not necessarily progressive overload leads to a bigger, stronger muscle. So just like a, I don't know, a mindset shift that hearing him talk about this again was like, dude, duh, like what? No shit, why did I not like piece these things together? So I don't know, maybe that's helpful to somebody out there. But I really like his content. And I mean, he's, you know, below ground in a basement. So, I mean, we're, you know, above ground garage reigns supreme over the below ground, you know, kind of basement dwellers. So anyways, all right, first working set, going for 10 to 12. Okay. Pretty solid first set. What is this? What, okay. Wow, band evasion. Dude, I don't want cheap viewers. Why do these people come in and spam their, hey, sign up for blah, 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 get these cheap viewers, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, lady, we need none of those things. So there's that. Okay, so first set down. Let's adjust our angle here just a bit. Excuse me. There we go. Very nice. And we'll get a little bit of water. Does anybody see my water? I feel like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. Where did it go? It's over here. All right. I need a little H2O. Ugh. Okay. So, one working set down. Hit 12. Are these shorts on inside out? No. So hit 12. Not too shabby. We'll see how, sets 2 and sets 3 go, but feeling optimistic so far based on how the first set felt. Some of y'all watching on Tuesday, I've been dealing with this like hip discomfort, kind of like where my SI joint is, which, is leading to some, people online love the term inflammation, but I do think I have a little bit of an inflamed SI joint, which is like right here, right? Like in your hip. And so slight bit of discomfort, and doing some research, probably have weak glutes. And so I'm thinking on our second leg day of the week, not this week. This week we'll take it pretty easy, but it's probably starting next week. We will do some hip thrusts on the squat max, and I'll go through the endeavor of setting it up, which is a total pain in the ass, but we got to build that booty, BTB. But for now, let's build some big pecs for some big paychecks. Okay. Whew. There's 2 with 12. I'm just looking at that, how that last rep moved. I mean, it felt way slower than it looked, but I'm intentionally not using as much leg drive as I normally do, so that the goal is to recruit more of my chest and chest fibers, and not as big of an arch, but just hitting that upper chest, Or I guess the phrase is biasing our upper chest is more accurate. Okay. And we should still be good. Yes. Okay. Thank you, chest. Very cool. Man, Friday Eve? Come on. Who doesn't love that? Thursday, Second best day of the week. Best day being Monday, of course, right? Because it's a fresh week of training. Kicks off on Mondays, so that's why Mondays are the best. But Friday Eve, pretty close second. You know, could be worse. That is for sure. There we go. So we have one more set on incline bench. I do have to say, during this gaining phase, you know, I started, sorry, I always text the homies good morning in the group chat. And I forgot to do it this morning, so I just fired it off now. You know, gotta support the homies. Love seeing the homies succeed. But during this gaining phase, you know, we cut down at the start of the year from, you know, about 180, not the best body composition, I will fully admit, but went from about 180 to low 160s and got pretty lean. That was cool, you know, but not nearly enough muscle mass for my frame, you know, about 5'11", got these big lanky arms, these long lanky legs, and so now we're back up to about 180, so took about, like I said, 3 months to lose, call it 15 to 18 pounds, I don't exactly remember, and so till March, and now here we're in October, so April, May, June, July, August, September, so 6 months to put about the same amount of weight back on, which I think is a, you know, relatively manageable rate of weight gain, and we're actually going to stay on this gain train until we hit probably like 195, I'd say, maybe like 190, and then we'll cut back down again, and it is just a vicious cycle of getting cut, putting on mass, getting cut, putting on mass, getting cut, putting on mass, and on the proverbial treadmill we go. But maybe for the cut, we'll consider hiring a coach for a couple months and do it legit instead of my little homebrew method that did work, but I think there's value in learning from somebody else at some point. But who knows? We'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. But for now, one more set. Oh, okay. Whew. And we'll call that there. Yeah. Could I have probably grinded out that last rep? I think so, but feeling a little unstable, like the weight got a little further out on my left side than normal, so we'll call it there, but we'll set this up for a little shoulder press. Oh, Pan, what's good, man? How are you? Happy Thursday, dude. How's your day? whoops, walking into the camera. So we got that. And that's right, little shoulder press. Dude, happy Thursday, man. Almost the weekend, Friday Eve. You know, don't hate it one bit. 20, 30, 40, okay. Get these out of here. And 45. There we go. Sorry, I'm just slightly off screen here, getting our dumbbell set up for some shoulder press. So we can get those bad boys all knocked out. Dude, happy almost weekend. 100%. Oh, there he is. Bowser's Big Bean Burrito. Oh. But man, pretty stoked that it's Friday Eve. Dude, the burrito emote is pretty great. Always love seeing Bowser pop up in the chat. Okay, don't just drop the bench. There we go. Bowser, how are you, man? Happy Friday Eve. We'll go. Dude, Bowser, I don't know if it's morning for you, if it's evening, because we get the best emotes, but not a lot of backstory. You know, nobody knows the Bowser lore. Not asking for it, obviously, but you know, would like to say, get my greetings correct. You know, if it's evening for you, would love to say, dude, Bowser's Big Bean Burrito, good evening. Or if it's morning, you know, would like to give you a wish you well on your day, but you're an enigma. Just a series of powerful emotes and a presence you can always feel but might not always understand, you know? Okay. There we go. So got our dumbbells all situated. So we can do our dumbbell shoulder press. We have 3 sets, 10 to 12. Man, exactly, man. Give us some lore, just a little breadcrumb. You know, let us put the rest of it together. It's like let us write our own fan fiction, but we need some canon, a little canon event to help us, you know, craft our fan fiction and our story. The tale we want to tell. All right. So that way you guys don't get just straight up crotch camera. We're gonna go a little off kilter. And we'll go like that. So again, 10 to 12. Try not to incorporate too much leg drive while doing these. Really want to keep as much of the tension as we can, you know, in our delts. Build some of those coconut shoulders. Here we go. Okay. I think, how do we feel about this angle? Straight up, ever so slightly. Oh, slightly more, okay. So we do have it set, well, at the right angle. Works for me. Give us some big bean informations. Exactly. Dude, Pan, how's your day? Did you end up training today? Dude, I woke up so much later than normal, so I didn't have a chance to check and see who was streaming this morning. But whenever I catch you live, man, I always try and hop in and say hello. Just these, we have quite a large time zone difference. So, there you go. Do a little bit like that. Yeah, that'll work. For our angle. Okay, so have our second set here. Coming up. Oh, somebody just typed something, but I can't see that far. Oh, Vladdy D, what's good? Good morning. Oh. Hope you're doing well, man. Happy Friday Eve. We're almost there. We're almost there. I think I remember you saying you're Central Time Zone, so happy, whatever it is, 7-ish a.m. for you and for me. All right. Second set, here we go. Okay. We'll say that was like 11 and a half. Whew. It's Thursday, not Friday Eve. All right, dude, it's Thursday. I had a teacher in like freshman year of high school that would always go, "Oh, good morning, class. Happy Friday Eve." And so it's just always stuck with me. I mean, Pan, at least for you, it's what, like 2 p.m. or something? You know, for us, our day's just getting started. I got a whole day of work ahead of me. At least for you, it's almost done, you know? Sheesh. Pretty tough, but that's okay. Damn, you're right. There you go. And then after this, we've got pretty much 2 sets of just about everything to wrap up. I'm off work until Saturday. Nice, man. Are you gonna play a little midnight club? Maybe a little Need for Speed Most Wanted? Some Burnout, Midnight Club, Dub Edition. Man. My heart is pounding. I know the mic is like right over my chest, and I don't know, I wonder if you guys can hear it just going dun 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 dun. Nothing like getting out of shape and winded doing dumbbell shoulder press and not some like rowing or assault bike. It's probably a sign I need to do a little more cardio. But I get my 10,000 steps in, you know? We're trying to cultivate mass. Anyways, when it's time to lean out, we'll probably incorporate a little bit of cardio. But for now, it is what it is. Maybe I play some midlife crisis. What is midlife crisis? Is that like a, I don't know, is that a, I've never heard of it. Is it a, I mean, I know what a midlife crisis is. It's where like, you know, a 45-year-old guy goes out and buys a Corvette because he thinks he needs to liquidate his 401k and feel young again. So he buys goes and gets a red Corvette to seem cool. So I know what that midlife crisis is, but I don't know. The game, is that, what, like a PS2 game or something? All right. Last set of these. Here we go. Oh. Oh. Okay. Man. Oh. Just some things fucking you up. Ads. Oh. Sorry about the ads. Okay. Oh, I forgot about that. Cable flies. Except we don't have cables. Okay. Whew. All right, so we have to get our situation set up for some flies. So, yeah, my hands are all sweaty. Oh. Might need to start bringing the hat back. $10, $20, $30, okay. Okay, so we're just setting up the dumbbells one more time for our flies. So we hit come back into frame and we'll talk about it. But we hit our incline bench for our chest, went pretty well. Hit our dumbbell shoulder press. My delts are screaming. Now we will do some isolation work. So a little incline dumbbell flies for a couple sets of about 15. So should be pretty set with 30s. This isn't the most, quote unquote stable lift. There's no kind of opposing force aside from the dumbbells, right? There's not like a fixed movement path. So it really is kind of all on me and how things feel and controlling the weight and not YOLOing the lift to make sure everything goes well and that I don't get injured is the main goal. So we will get these dumbbells set up and get situated to do these 2 sets of about 15 reps, I'm thinking. So let's see how these go. Okay. Whew. All right. There's one set. Oh, this camera angle is all, not the worst, but we can go a little more like these. So we're a little more framed up. Okay. Probably need to move the old command center back over this way. Very cool. All right, so we're at, what time is it? About 7:20, so have about, we'll call it 20, 25 minutes, right, to keep kind of cruising along through these last couple exercises. We will do one more set on flies. We'll adjust the dumbbells one more time for some lateral raises to keep building these delts, So that'll be next. Once we wrap these up, again, gonna be going for 15, really. So trying to keep for this exercise, as much tension on our pecs as we can, right? Trying to be controlled, not just, noodle arms, YOLOing the weight around, tearing a rotator cuff or a pec or a bicep or something like that. Trying to be under control. So that's what we got. This whole training thing, especially, via live stream or with a camera and everything, I think hopefully this is more of like a raw, we're seeing a dude train pretty hard, maybe. There's definitely people that train harder than me, but all things considered, I think we're training pretty hard. Not bad. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, chest exercises, done. Peace out. That was pretty tough, not gonna lie. So, rocking the 30s, hit 2 sets of 15. Now for our last delt exercise, we'll move the command center over here, and we'll grab the camera as well, and we'll need to get the dumbbells all set up and adjusted for our lateral raises on the rack. There we go. And then we'll move this guy. Shout out to One Piece. The spoilers for this week are pretty crazy. So I'm hoping we get the full chapter today. That would be sick, because we are in the best flashback that's adding the most context, and dude, just like, One Piece fans are feasting these last couple days, or last couple weeks, I should say. Absolutely feasting. So if we set up here, how are we looking? Are we still gonna be crazy blurry? No, that should work. Might have to raise this up just a bit. There we go. And then I'll hang out right behind the camera so we can get our, we need 20s? Yeah. So we can get our dumbbells set up. Go. And there we go. All right. So let's get our lateral raises in. Are we? Oh, probably too high now. We just got to drop it just a smidge. There we go. Maybe that would be better. All right, so pretty standard, hanging on the rack, trying to keep all the tension in our delt. Try not to use as much, body English or momentum on these. Trying to keep as much tension in my delta as possible. Oh, okay. And we'll put this guy on the bench. So, right, the goal with these lateral raises, if we had a machine, right, at the gym, right, where there's usually like a seat and there's, 2 handles that you can move kind of unilaterally, right, kind of driving up with the elbow, right? Those are awesome. Wish we had, home gym, pretty unrealistic to have something like that in a garage, but if we did, those rule. Good alternative, the ones where you stand and there's 2 handles, right? And you can kind of go, all the way up if you wanted. Those are pretty sweet with the handles. Cable system, right? You can set it like knee-ish height or like quad height, and you could do them kind of this way. There's a whole host of things we can set up to train our delts and build those big old capped shoulders. Most of them are impractical for a garage gym, so we make do with the dumbbell lateral raise. Maybe in the future, if the MeatHaus really pops off, we'll have maybe a separate dedicated training space that's not my garage here. Just here in my garage. But until then, this is how we get stuff done here. And people have built great physiques with less or worse equipment. So if they can do it, why can't we? Very fortunate and grateful for the stuff that we have. No, not everybody has my situation. Very grateful and appreciative of my wife for letting us build this, but still doesn't mean I don't miss some of the comforts and I guess amenities, maybe luxuries of a traditional kind of commercial gym. But yeah, we'll see. Being a gym owner would be pretty brutal, to be honest. Razor thin margins. My God. Especially where we're at. Dude, a lease would be fucking crazy expensive. But all right. Here we go. Last set of these. Oh, man. What's up, Pan? Welcome back, dude. Missed you. All right. come on. Oy. Okay. Sheesh. Okay, so what have we done? Incline dumbbell, 3 sets. Dumbbell shoulder press, 3 sets. Incline flies, 2 sets. Lateral raises, 2 sets. Now to finish things off, we have our, what is it? Triceps, duh. And so we're gonna rock, what is it? That's right, JM presses. Okay, so we're gonna use easy bar for 3 sets, about 12 on good old, ads again. Sorry about that. But 3 sets of, we'll call it 12 to 15 on JM press. So we will bring you guys back this way. And we'll wheel our bench back after we get a quick little hit of H2O, and then we'll bring it back. Okay. Backing up, backing up, backing up. All right. Yeah, that should be good. Get our little seat out of the way. And then over in the rack, we have our easy bar that we're gonna get set up. So the rackable curl bar is 30 pounds. And, I do really like this rackable curl bar. I wish it had some sort of coating on it instead of just being bare steel. But, not too expensive. Oh, welcome back, Pan. And the use I've gotten out of it since buying it has been pretty awesome. And being able to store it in the rack like this is a pretty big win in my book. Makes things pretty easy. All right, so there's 70 pounds, and then we need our collar. A little clippy clip. There's that. I think the mic, why are you yelling at the mic? Where it's at should be good. I might actually just take it off for this next exercise so it doesn't get just completely smashed. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's move the bar into place and we'll get our first set of JM presses. I'll also need to adjust our camera. Boop. There we go. I'll move this guy over here. A little command center. So I've seen people do, the mic's all the way over there. I feel like I'm yelling. So I've seen people do JM press with like a Smith machine, and that would be sweet, having a Smith machine. But when we got the rack originally, we were doing powerlifting. So no Smith machine for us unless we sell the rack, but I don't think I'll do that. Anyways, here we go. Okay, so I just want to watch how those reps look. Yeah, it's kind of like a close grip bench skull crusher hybrid, which is what we were going for with the most unathletic dismount anyone has ever seen, but that is all good. We'll go slightly different angle for our next set. Yeah, Pan, no worries. Dude, have a great day. Appreciate you being here. Always fun chatting with you. Have a nice Thursday. And, dude, I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one, man. Okay. So we have 2 more sets on these, and then we will round out this push day with some good old-fashioned tricep extensions on the lat tower. We'll figure out the best way to get those done and put a little bit of meat on these triceps. What's going on? Okay. Dude, the group chat with the boys popping off. Thanks, Pan. Love you too, bro. Appreciate you. All right. Second set. focusing on, not letting my elbows flare too much on these. So keeping more of the tension on, right on our triceps. And would you believe it's significantly more difficult, and I'm feeling it much more in my triceps as compared to last week. So again, bit of a mindset shift, which again, some people might say, yeah, dude, no shit. I don't know why you're talking about this. Why didn't you know this from the beginning? Blah, 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 blah. But the context of being a training for powerlifting, competing in powerlifting, right? Where it's maximizing the weight on the bar and moving it, not with, no one's saying have shit technique or anything. That's the one-way ticket to Snap City. But as we're shifting our mentality and our focus more towards bodybuilding and the subjective side of crafting a good physique, right? A well-rounded aesthetic physique. Not necessarily being one of those those woo-woo mind-muscle connection guys or anything, but I do think there's value in being, I don't say locked in is what, the youths are saying. So maybe being more locked in, being more intentional with technique and truly making sure I'm exhausting and biasing the muscles that I want to get exhausted. And as they get bigger, progressive overload will come, but we cannot just force progressive overload week on week on week without paying attention to technique, the stimulus, targeting the muscles that we want to target, and just adding weight and reps and things like that for weight and reps sake, and not truly biasing and fatiguing the muscles that we want and building and crafting the physique that we want. So less obsessed with the weight on the bar. It is still important, but more obsessed, I'd say, with not necessarily perfect technique, but you get it. I'm rambling. Anyways, whatever. Here we go. Last set on these. All right. Sheesh. Okay. Oh. Oh. Gosh. Fellas, and lady fellas, folks, that's more of a gender neutral term. Wow, we're feeling it in our triceps. So 3 sets 70 pounds. Didn't get, 15 each set, but I think we got 3 hard quality sets in for our triceps, which don't know that you can ask for much more than that. All right. And we will now transition to our last exercise, which is going to be some tricep extensions here on the old lat tower. I have a extra chain we'll hook on here and we'll get these going. So we need, 20 pounds on the tower? Tower of power. Okay. Take this guy. And there we go. And then from down here, we'll get this guy. And did we have it all the way down? I think we did. That should be good. We'll grab these guys and we will be all set to knock out these tricep extensions. Tricep push downs, tricep extensions, I don't know what to call these. We're doing triceps on the lat tower. Let's not overcomplicate things. So I just haven't purchased a handle or anything. What is this saying? Pre-roll ads are disabled for an hour. There you go, no pre-rolls for an hour. Not that we're gonna be streaming for another hour. But what I do is we take the little carabiner, take our strap through the hole and around, and then I just hold on to this strap for dear life, hold on to this, and we do our triceps this way. Okay. Oh, man, okay. The tricep stimulus is quite high while doing these. This one feels kind of wonky. So we'll adjust this. There we go, much better. Okay. Oh my gosh. My triceps. I feel a sick burn in my sweet tri. What is that from? Is that from Blades of Glory? Where he's like, feel sweet, a deep burn in my sweet thigh from doing my squat thrusts. What a silly movie. Squat thrusts are hard, real hard. Oh, Will Ferrell went on a pretty solid run there. He's got Fairchild's legs and Strawn's ass. Jimmy McElroy? Man. Yeah, Will Ferrell. Pretty solid run of flicks for a few years there. Okay. We'll do our last set on triceps. Trying to build, some nice, big, meaty arms. When dudes hit that front double bi, and they've got just those hanging, just hams off the bottom of their arms. That's what we're going for, I think Matthew McConaughey in some interview was like, McConaughey's got big triceps, got the workhorse muscle. And it's true, Biceps, I guess it's all kind of for vanity, but if we can get some big old triceps, got some big arms. Okay. Oh, okay. One more. Left side, strong side. Let's just torch these triceps before we get out of here. Again, I keep not putting this, what am I trying to say? I'm not putting this far enough in. Hey now. There we go. Okay. Last set on this push day. Done. Cause it's done. There you go. K-pop Demon Hunters. Hun tricks don't miss. Oh. All right, so we are at 7:55 a.m., which means it is just about time to get this shindig all wrapped up. So, then we gotta shower and get ready for work and all of the fun that brings. So we'll get this guy brought over and bada bing, bada boom. Bingo, bango. We're the MeatHaus. Hit him with the 2-time. Okay. Silly dances. So, first of all, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, you guys rock. If you're watching live on Twitch or on YouTube, I appreciate you all. Your viewership and your support really does mean a lot for our little garage gym operation that we've got here. You know, just a dude here in his garage, even though that guy was like indicted for a Ponzi scheme, Ty Lopez. That's kind of funny. You know what I like more than this garage gym? Knowledge. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But big mess up by that guy. But as always, I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your time. We had a little series of audio issues and snafus that I think have since been resolved. So the transition from, streaming from an iPhone out into the world and then downloading the VOD and then editing the VOD into YouTube videos and all of that was the workflow we were using. Now we got the StreamHaus, a little PC back here that's hosting the stream, have a higher quality camera and all of that. Now that audio has been fixed, we should be back on the content flywheel, as they call it. So YouTube videos should be coming back. These live streams have kind of kept some sort of momentum going on our channel, which has been great. So if you're tuning into the live streams over on YouTube, I do really appreciate it. Kind of a new motion and thing that we've been trying out. We do live stream all of our training sessions Monday through Friday. So Monday's upper, Tuesday's lower, Wednesday's push, Thursday today is pull, and then tomorrow will be legs again. Then we're off Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to, keep showing up to the streams, keep supporting, please consider, subscribing over on YouTube, following here on Twitch. We just hit 100 followers on Twitch, which in 90 days for a niche little garage gym guy lifting early in the morning, it's pretty cool. So I appreciate it. I think we're at like 93 subs or something on YouTube. I can check, 93. So if you want to subscribe there, that'd be tight. We'll be getting some more edited vlogs and videos and shorts and stuff. Again, out pretty soon. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those places, right, where all the youngins are at. You can find us there. But for today, triceps looking, decently meaty. So, before today, that's gonna call it. Oh, look who it is. What's up, Sia? How are you? Yeah, dude, we're wrapping up. We've been live almost an hour and a half. We hit our chest, hit our delts, just wrapped up our triceps. Dude, we're almost like we're crashing out. We're wrapping up, man. So I gotta get out of here, dude. I got work. I've got Zoom calls to sit on all day. I got people to talk to. So we have a Discord as well. So please check us out there. And but I got to get out of here, guys. So again, appreciate your support. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Thank you for your viewership. You all have been great. Thank you, Sia. I see that in the chat. You all have been great. We've been the MeatHaus. We got to get out of here. Finger guns.